expectation of the creature is not waiting for your explanation. They are not waiting for your storytelling. They are not waiting for you to explain God. They are waiting for you to manifest God. And so it comes to a point in your life where you don't need to say one more thing. All you need to let people know is the God that is able to do what no man can do. Now, it wasn't too long ago when someone had called me on the phone, and then they said to me, the man called me on the phone. That was sometime last year, and he said to me, Pastor, I want to inform you that my wife is dead. And he said, right now we're in the hospital. Our son is dead, rather. See, our son is dead. So please, I need you to tell my wife. You're the only one that can relay the information to my wife and all that. Find the appropriate scriptures and then use it and talk to my wife so that my wife will understand. And because everybody is everywhere. People of God, I do not know how an apostle of good news will automatically become an apostle of bad news. And I said to myself, how do I package this word? You know how it is that somebody tells you something, all the scriptures you know disappears from your head. How do you tell a woman that is it God give it, God take it? Is it the will of God? Is it the program of God? Is it the plan of God? But you know the truth of the matter until you understand the reservoir of power that you carry on the inside. You know the reason why the devil keeps fighting your prayer life, because he understands there is no better place to generate the power you need in order to go through destiny as much as in the place of prayer. Show me a man that can pray, I will show you a man that situations will bow to. Show me a man that is energized in the place of prayer. Listen, let me say it one more time. There is a generation out there that is crying for what we carry. Until we build capacity in the place of prayer, until we build capacity to be able to showcase in our word, child of God, no matter how much you speak English, there are situations that do not require English. No matter how much you try to strategize and package, there are situations that will reduce your package to nothing. But there is a man that knows how to pray. He might not know the English, but prayer does what his English cannot do. He might not know the strategy, but prayer generates what he cannot generate by himself. And I said to God, how would I have spent all night with you in the place of prayer? How would I have spoken? And you have spoken and said too many things about where is this whole thing coming from? And then I called back the man and he said, Pastor, let me give it to my wife. I said, don't give it to your wife. Go straight to where your child is. And I said to God, you know, one thing that consoled me, I said to God, I'm going to pray for that child. Two things will happen. If you like, hear me. If you like, don't hear me. But one thing I want to assure you is that I'm not praying in my name. If I pray in your name and you decide to answer, that's fine. If you do not decide to answer, they are my church members, but you did not embarrass me. You embarrassed your name. But whether I will pray, I will pray. The same power that raised Jesus from the dead is even in our work, in our mortal bodies. And then I said, put the phone on speaker, put it beside the child, and then we began to pray. I began to cry. I began to beg God. I said, God, let anything, as in, if this is the only thing you would do for me in this life, don't do another one. Just make sure you bring back this child. Child of God, the Bible says, and the women receive their dead back to life again. And child of God, it comes to a point when you realize, I'm talking about the reign of the Spirit. The reign of the Spirit is not for drama. The reign of the Spirit is not for me to carry a title. The reign of the Spirit is not for me to just show up and wear good shoes and wear good clothes. Our generation is asking for more. Our generation is making a demand for more. Our generation is saying, all these people that carry their Bibles to church and come out, can't you people speak a word that things might change? All these people that carry their Bibles and show up in church on Sunday morning, you know, the Bible says, for you have come unto Mount Zion, to the city of the living God, innumerable company of angels. I said this in a conference, but let me say it one more time. People of God, you know, as we are seated here right now and everybody looking at me, our Mount Zion is this present house because it's speaking about the church. But one thing I want to also assure you is there are two kinds of members in this church. There are members you can see and there are others you can't see. You know, oftentimes when we say turn to your neighbor, you think it's your neighbor that is your neighbor. The Bible says there are innumerable company of angels. So there are angels that are members of this church assigned to this present house. What you don't understand, when we say go and shake your neighbor, before you shook the first neighbor by your side, you already shook like 7 angels, because there are an innumerable company of angels. You can count the number of people here, but you cannot count the number of angels that are in this house. And this is why you walk into church and you understand that you came to a gas station. You are refueled for every circumstance, every challenge, every difficulty you are about to face in the week. And so you can come in here powerless and you leave also powerless. This is the time, this is the season, this is that moment. A generation is waiting for what we carry. And people of God, by the time I began to pray for that child, and all of a sudden nobody spoke to me. All I heard was a massive shout. People were screaming. People were screaming. The father didn't talk to me. Mother didn't talk to me. At some point, I stopped the prayer. I said, what just happened? What just happened? I called back again. Nobody. Until they now called me like 5 minutes later. And then, you can imagine. He said, Pastor, he's alive. Pastor, he's alive. Pastor, he's alive. Pastor, he's alive. You know the reason why the unbelievers will go on social media and mock us on Resurrection Challenge is that we have not built the capacity to carry the reign of the Spirit that God is about to do. I just looked at them. I said the reason why everybody will be mocking a Resurrection Challenge, the dead are still coming back to life. Don't do that. Don't do that, because I still know a God who is so powerful to make things happen. But is there someone who will say, God, even if there are no persons, you can trust me for a release of your Spirit in the now, because I know there is a generation that is waiting for what I carry. If you understand what I said, can you have me shout reign of the Spirit?